Hey guys, it's Dave here, and you've probably seen me on here streaming this hockey game on Facebook and YouTube. And a couple people ask, what is this game, and where can I get it, and how do I play it, and a whole bit. So what I thought I would do today is just do a quick video about the game. What is it? Where to buy it, some gameplay I want to show you, some fun things. You can really customize this game any way you want, and some things you can do in the game. Just really fun stuff you can do. Okay, first off, what is it? Okay, and I just want to make sure that I'm going live here like I always do. What it is it's a hockey simulation game, but it has some aspect of gameplay in it as well. So I mean, I've played some really heavy sim games that are really fun, but there's not a lot of gameplay at all. In fact, usually none. But you set up your teams and the database and your salary caps and a whole bit, and it's really been fun. But the games you kind of simulate. And then on the other hand, you get NHL 18 or 19 or 94. You play with a controller and you just play in there. This is kind of somewhere in the middle. I think really kind of leaning toward the sim side of it. But what you do in this game is you pick your favorite season or your favorite team or your favorite player even, and then you go back in time and you simulate that season with the game, okay? So let's just say I got 1979 set up right here. Okay, let's just say you wanted to go back to 1979 and see if you could get the Bruins to win the cup, okay? Because it was about that time that they had too many men on the ice and the whole bit. So let's just say I'm going to take the Bruins in 1979, and I'm going to play that team in that season and see if I can win the cup. So that's what you would do. You could take your Bruins and do it, okay? So you could go to your Bruins team right here, and you could see the roster, the 1979, 80 roster. You could see your teams. You set up your lines and the whole bit, and then you go and you start playing the games, okay? What you can also do in this game is you can set up the one-offs, okay? So you could set up a game between the 79 Bruins and, let's say, the 84 Oilers. Or let's be, better, how about the 72 Bruins and the 84 Oilers? You can set up these exhibition games or even a tournament and have these teams play against each other and see how it goes, okay? You could take the 72 Bruins and put them in the 84 season and simulate that season and see how Orr and Esposito and those guys do against the Gretzky years, or vice versa. So you can really take teams from any season that you have and drop them into any season and play, okay? You can also take any player that you have. Now when you buy a season, and more on that in a second, when you buy a season, you now have access to all the players in that season, okay? So if you wanted to, you could take Gretzky in his prime and put him on the 72 Bruins. Or you could take Orr in his prime and put him on the 84 Oilers, if you follow any of that. So you have all these what-if scenarios that you can do in this game and go back and play them. A couple of projects that I'm working on in this game is I have the 1980 Olympics. And right now I'm taking Team USA and I'm pitting them against different NHL teams from different time frames. So in other words, I first started off 1980 USA Olympic team, Jim Craig and Ruzioni and those guys, and I had them play the 1974 Washington Capitals because that was the worst NHL team as far as records go. They only won 8 or 9 games that season, I believe. So I had them play, and they ended up beating the 74 Capitals. So now I'll have them play a little bit better team. Eventually I'll see if I can get them to play, some powerhouses, some of the big Canadian teams and the Oilers and the Islanders and the Bruins even. And just have them play out in a what-if game scenario as a one-off, and I'm having some fun with that. Also, I've gone back to 1974, and if I can call that up here. Okay, so this is my 1974 season, and if I go to the Boston Bruins, okay, let's take a look who's in net. Yes, Tretiak, the big famous Russian goaltender. I took Tretiak and imported him and put him on my 74 Bruins team, and I got Tretiak and Gilles Gilbert alternating in net. I also grabbed Valery Karmelov and Boris Mikhailov, left wing and right wing, and I get Phil Esposito centering 2 Russians on the Bruins team here. So I just imported the Russians from some Olympic database that I had, brought them into the Bruins, and I'm now playing this season here. And right now the Bruins are 4-0, Tretiak's 3-0, and Gilbert's 1-0. And I'm just playing through this season with that. So that's some of the things you can do. You can bring in different players and drop them in and have a lot of fun with this game. And hi, Al, in the chat room. And yes, I do have my Seal shirt on as I'm doing this video here. So there's a few things that you can do in the game. You can mix and match. You can move teams around. You can move players around. If you have a favorite player, again, you can put them on any team and then play that season out. You have the option when you do a season is to play every game in the season. I don't think you ever would, but you can do that. You can just pick select games, okay? But a lot of times what you do is you'll stick with one team and play those games. You can sim ahead as far as you want and then pick up the season at a later point. So it's really wide open as to what you can do. So if you're asking what is this game or what can it do, that's what it can do, okay? Before we do get going here, I'm going to show you where to buy it. I've only had this game 10 or 11 days. I've had it less than 2 weeks. And I do have to give a shout out to Ron at Retro Sports Network and Al Red Sox Fan and even ID Jester. So look up those three guys here on YouTube. I've watched their videos. I've asked questions. I've learned so much from those three guys. So I am not an expert. I've had it less than 2 weeks. But I've had a lot of fun, and people have asked me about it, so I thought maybe doing this video as still a newbie, that I could show other newbies really how to play. But I really leaned on them quite a bit as far as learning some stuff about the game. So anyway, so where do you get the game? Okay, you go online, and you're going to go to this website right here, dksports.com. I think it's Dave Coach Sports or CoachSports.com. is what it is. Okay, let me get rid of my camera for 1 second. There we go. Okay, so you're going to be on this website right here, the Action PC Sports Games, and you can see on the right-hand side they do football, baseball, hockey, basketball, and even golf. I have the football game, and that is really fun. It's very similar to the hockey game here. And I think I'm going to pick up the golf game, too. That's a fun, relaxing type of golf game. Okay, so just to give you an idea on the price of this game, if we go to, oh, I think I got to go back here. Oh, hang on, let's go back. Oh boy, I think I messed it up here. So if I go to shop, there we go. Okay. If you go to the shop here now, all right, go to the hockey game. Now, it's not on sale right now, so I would wait for a sale. But you get the three options. You got the basic game for $35. You can usually get that around $30. And then you have the deluxe version and another deluxe version. One comes with 10 seasons, okay, and one comes with 5, okay. And what you got to do is see what seasons they come with, see if those are the seasons you want, because you do have to buy the seasons individually. That's one of the downsides to this game is you do need to buy the seasons individually. So choose wisely, okay, if you're choosing your seasons. So if I go over to my seasons here, you can see, again, they're anywhere between $9 and $15 for a season. But again, they always have these sales that they're 40 to 50% off. You can even buy an entire decade like I did and get them for around $5. So don't fret on the prices of the season. They go all the way up to the modern one. If I scroll all the way up here, all the way up to 2012 and 13, I think is the latest season here. But you can get go back in time and pick any season you want. You can pick up a whole decade and have some fun with that. So let's go back to the hockey game here right now. Okay, and I'll put my camera back on so I can say hi again. Okay, so let's go back into the game and actually run a game here. So that's where you would buy the game and buy your season. So let's run a game. Now, I got a ton of seasons, so let's just go to 1987. Okay, so here's a 1987 season. I'm just going to run a game. So let's do an exhibition game between Quebec and the Boston Bruins. Okay, 1987. Now keep in mind this game does have a couple of glitches in it, and it can crash. The good thing is it loads right back up, and you really don't lose anything. If you're in the middle of the game, it does save the game quite often. So if it does crash on me, which it does from time to time, I will get my game right back. So just forewarning. So I got the Bruins and the Nordiques. I'm going to go over some of these settings here in a minute. I just want to kind of show you gameplay, but let's get right into the game. So this is what your screen's going to look like. It's going to pop up. Oh, I didn't save. I didn't say if I wanted to play as a computer or the home team. So let me jump out of this because I didn't select my team. So let me exit out of this and do this again. So I'm going to go back in exhibition. It's going to be Quebec and it's going to be Boston, and I'm going to play. And I'm gonna play as the Bruins. So I'm gonna select computer Quebec and human for Boston. Now here we go. Okay, so now I will set up my lines in my roster here. So if I go to my forward lines, this is what the computer set up for me. Okay. Now, so I get Linsman, Neely, and Courtnall. Let's just say, you know something, I want to put Burridge on the first line. So I'm going to go to my positions. I'm going to look for Randy Burridge. Click on Burridge. And I'm going to put Burridge here. And then go to my Courtnall, which is here, and put Courtnall on the second line. It's that simple to do lines. As far as goaltending, get down here. Do I want Moog, Lemelin, or Dougie Keens? Well, Moog is only 4'8". That is really low. So, all right, we'll go Lemelin. So we're going to put Reggie in net. I got my lines all set up, and now we're going to start the game. Okay? And these are the lineups here, and we are set to go. So on the right-hand side, let me take my camera off again. All right, so on the right-hand side now, we have how we're going to proceed in the game. So balance, safe, aggressive, or clear. Okay, a lot of times I just like to go balance and see how the game goes. So I'm over the limit. That's fine. This is just a demo, and here we go. And there is some sounds to this game too, which is kind of cool. So as you can see in the middle here, this is the play-by-play of the game. Okay, so this is how the game starts to be played out. So I have it set that I will click for every shot, no matter what team it is. So I can sit back and I can shoot at my leisure. Because what I like to do is I like to broadcast the game while I'm doing it. So I will read some of the play-by-play. I'll add my own. And then when it gets to the shot, I will say something. So it's like, okay, Stasny with it. Stasny takes a shot. And that whistles wide of Lemelin. Okay, so I added that. But you can see how the shot went wide. And now Boston has it. Boston moves up the other way. And it's Bork had it to Neely. He takes a hit as I'm reading the text here. And you can change the speed of all this right here. You can speed it up or slow it down. I found a sweet spot where it is right now where I can kind of read it and go through the game without taking a long time. So now it's in the neutral zone. It looks like Burridge has the puck. Now keep in mind, this up here is a representation of what's going on in the game. And it's not 100% accurate. It's kind of a little guideline of what's going on in the game, but it gives you a sense of what's going on. It gives you something to look at, too. The football game does a really nice job of this. Not so much in the hockey. I'm hoping maybe the new hockey might be a little bit better, but at least here you do have an idea on what's going on, okay? So I'm in the neutral zone. You can see Boss has the puck in the neutral zone. How do I proceed? Dump and chase or skate and pass? I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Sometimes I'll dump and chase. This time I'm going to skate or pass. And now I bring it into the zone. So Burridge to Kluzak to Linsman over to Bork. He's hit by Duchesne, and Quebec has the puck. Now Quebec comes out. So my choices are just continue over here, and we continue with the game. So now Quebec brings it in. I can see the gameplay's dragging a little bit. Now it snaps to the zone, and it bounced toward the net. Lemelin ties it up, so now we have a face-off. So now if I want to, I can change my lines right now. Okay, on the left-hand side in the middle, I have it set to auto lines over here. And right now, my lines are Courtnall, Casper, and Sweeney. So that's my second line with Larson and Glenn Wesley, my second line pair. But if I want to, I can change and put my third line out just by clicking on the top. So you can see they all changed here and they all changed here. Okay. You can also go individual. Okay. So right now I have Larson and Wesley. Let's just say I wanted to put Peterson out. I would click just on the Peterson name, not on the pair, but just on the Peterson name. And now, you see over here, Peterson's out here on defense. So we're going to get aggressive on the draw to see if we can get it out of our zone. We lost the face-off. It's controlled by Quebec. And now they lose it. And now Boston has it. So Boston, I'm going to go aggressive again out of my zone. And see if I can go down and take a shot on net. But I give up possession. Oh, actually, Quebec had it and gave it up. And now let's try balance this time. So again, I'm coaching, but I also am playing at the same time. Okay, so now we just got a whistle there, and face-off will come outside the zone. And now I'm going to go to my fourth line. I'm going to go the Byers-Middleton line, and we'll go with Bork and Kluzak on defense, and here we go. So Quebec wins the face-off again, and they bring it into the Boston zone. They have it behind the net. Now this just Jackson's going to take a shot. Now if you look over here on the left-hand side, you got some stats up here. You have the face-off percentage. So Quebec's won every face-off. On the right-hand side, Boston's won none. Boston has 2 hits. No scoring chances. Quebec has 1 scoring chance, but this could be a second scoring chance as Jackson's going to take a shot. And he got it through, and Lemon grabs that, and he hangs on for a face-off. So now, with auto lines done, the computer put the first line back out for me. I can shift it back to line 4 if I would like to, but you want to go with the freshest line, so I'm going to go line 2, and I'm going to go pair 2 on my defense here. And I'm going to get aggressive. So this is kind of how some of the gameplay goes, and what you're going to see. There's a few more choices to make during the game, and they'll come up. I'm trying to get them to come up here. They may or may not. Okay, now I get a chance. So Wesley at the point. Wesley shot. It goes wide. And let's see who gets the puck on the rebound. Boston has it, but it's all the way out the center. So now I'm going to dump and chase. So let's dump it in and see if I can go get it. So Casper dumps it in. Sweeney got there first to Courtnall, but Courtnall coughs it up, and Quebec has the puck right now. So what's happening now in the background is it's kind of like rolling dice in the background to see, okay, these two guys, now listen to this right here. So we got an audio too.
Boston penalty to Bob Sweeney, 2 minutes for slashing, time of the penalty, 4 minutes 11 seconds.
So that's kind of cool. Is I have it set up so there's a little bit of narration going on for goals and penalties, and when the guy comes out of the box, it'll say he's out of the box. So what I like to do when I'm broadcasting, I'll pause and let the narrator say that, and it feels like that's the PA guy in the game. Okay, so now I'm short-handed, so I just want to see if I can clear the zone off the face-off. I'm going to win it. Hopefully Bork will get there. Dwyer had it. He's knocked off the puck, and Quebec controls with Goulet and Stastny playing catch. Now Goulet in the corner with it. A low percentage shot as he comes out and fires it. Lemelin makes a save. And that's kind of how the gameplay goes. Now, there are some things you can do in the game. Okay. So I do have to let this shot play out, though. So I'm going to have Quebec take the shot. And looks like Lemelin made the save. And Bork's going to clear it out. But it's kept back in. And now there's a chance for Stastny, and Lemelin makes another save. So the Quebec power play looking really good right now. And now Goulet with a third chance, and Lemelin with another save. So Reggie Lemelin playing really well right now. Boston just cannot get this puck as Quebec keeps controlling it. And now finally Casper has it. And see if I can clear it out. So now I have the chance to clear it out. During the game, a couple options. So the lineups just show you what's going on. The box, it shows me who's in the penalty box. So Bob Sweeney still got 1:17 to go. I have some options when I'm coaching here. Okay? And I can apply it to this shift only the entire game. So I can do more dumping and chasing. Okay? I can get a little bit more aggressive toward the net or toward the point. So I'm going to get more aggressive towards the net. Forecheck is down because I'm short-handed. Analysis tells you a little bit what's happening during the game. The game itself shows you who's on the ice. These are the real stats from the players from that season. These are the replay stats, and there's no stats right now because this is the first game of the season we're actually playing. And what's kind of cool, too, is the ticker. What the ticker does is if you're playing a scheduled game, if you're playing a season and you're doing a scheduled game, what'll happen in the ticker is as you're playing your game, games that are being played at the same time will appear in this screen here, and you can kind of follow along. And I did that last night in my 1974 season, and it was kind of neat seeing how the California upset Buffalo and St. Louis beat Montreal, and that Chicago destroyed Washington. And you can see like who got the goal at what time. It shows you like underneath the score, it shows you the latest goal. So having the ticker was kind of fun. Some people like to leave it on game. You can leave it on whatever you want here, but I like to leave it on ticker if I'm playing a season. All right, so I have the puck. Let's see if I can just clear it out. and it looks like I do, and now Quebec brings it back up the ice with 107 to go. So this is kind of how you play the game, and this is what the game looks like, okay? So you got your rink. You got on the left side, you got your lines that you change on the fly. You have some options here to show you who's in the box, some coaching options that we went through. And then in the middle is your play-by-play, and then the right-hand side is where all the action takes place, okay? You can actually flip the game, so you can actually go to vertical ice, okay? Actually, it looks better than this. I didn't choose the right ice for this, so let me go back to this right here. Oh, hang on, something's wrong with that. Switch to vertical ice. Yeah, let me go back. Okay, so that's kind of glitching out on me right now. But there is a view, and I'll see if I can set that up. Let me exit out it here. I just want to see if I can show you that view. So if I do an exhibition game, we'll go Edmonton and Calgary, play. So I'll set it up for vertical this time instead of horizontal. I will play as Calgary. And let's see if... Okay, there we go. So this is the vertical view of the game. Just to give you an idea. I like the horizontal. The vertical view gets in a little tighter. So you can actually see a little bit more of the action. Compared to the horizontal view, which is kind of a elongated view or a zoomed out view. And I think the action flows a little better on horizontal, but already we got a shot. Now the shots look better in the vertical view because they were in tighter in the zone. So Hawk and Lou's going to take a shot, and Grant Fear is going to make the save. And now it's going to be picked up by Gretzky to Lowe, and they bring it down into the Calgary zone. And it's going to be Gretzky with it. Gretzky with a shot, and that's going to be blocked in front. So you can see the two different views of the game. The game plays the same. It all depends on what view you like. I like the horizontal view. I just like how it looks, how it feels. But it's nice that you have that option to play either way. So we're offside, and it's a face-off in the neutral zone. And again, I could change my lines up here. I could put up line 2. I could put up my third pair defenseman, and we're good to go. I can even change my goalie if I want. If I want to double-click and I want to put Walmsley in net, I could do that. So that's the vertical view of the game. So let me back out right here. All right, so that's kind of what it is. That's where to buy it, and that's some gameplay. Now let me show you some of the customization that you can do in this. Oh, and what's kind of neat too is while you're playing the game, it does have some running stats. So if you're playing a season, I'll just put my camera back on so you can say hi. If you're playing a season, and let's just say Terry O'Reilly scores, it'll say his first of the season, his second of the season. That's really cool, okay? Or if you're playing Pittsburgh, it's like, Mario Lemieux scoring his, as in here, 70th of the season. While it does the stats, it keeps running track of it. It is really, really kind of neat. There's plenty of stats in here. My notes say stats, stats, stats. So if I go to my 1974 season, which is the season that I'm currently playing right now, okay? So this is what's going on my season round. My scoring leaders, I got my goals leaders, assists, and the whole bit. I can go to team reports. I can go to my Boston. So this is Boston's what I've done so far. I've played 4 games. Buffalo, Toronto, Chicago, and Philadelphia. They've all been dogfights, even though I bulked up with some Russians. It's been dogfights. And it goes to show down here some of my... Okay, that's the real stats. I click on the replay here. Let me get rid of my camera so you can see this. Okay. So on the right-hand side, I got real stats for what happened that season, and my replay stats is what's actually going on. So these are the games that I've played. You can see Shepard and Kalimov and Schmatz, these 4 games. Everybody's played 4 games here, and Greg Shepard is my points leader, and I can do that with any team. I can go and see what's going on in my replay season here with some of the stats. If I want to, I go back to Boston. I'm pretty sure if I double-click on this, it brings up what happened in that game. So I can go to my summary here. So this is the very first game I played with Tretiak in net and Karmelov and Mikhailov. And there's the box score right there. I can go back at any time and see any of these box scores. I can go to my goalies. I can see that Bromley played for a while, and we got 7 goals on him, and they took him out and they put Crozier in. I can go to my player statistics for that game. I can just take a look at one team or the other team. my team totals. And again, I can go back and do that with any game. The Flyers game I just played last night was a good one. And you can see that it was a 2-1 game. It was Terry O'Reilly scoring. If I go to my scoring, it was actually O'Reilly and Orr scoring. And you can see Orr's second of the season. Bobby Clark has 6 assists. The stats are phenomenal in this game. I'm really, really impressed with what you can do with it. So let me exit out of this. Okay, so now we're back to the main screen. Now you can see on this one here, you can see that I have logos. Okay, you can actually go in and bring in logos for all your teams. And once you do it once, you're all set. That season is set up and you're done. So if I go to Organize Team Information, you can see here that I have the Atlanta Flames logo. I have the Atlanta Flames horizontal ice, the Atlanta Flames vertical ice, and then we have the uniforms, the road and the home uniforms, and the same with Boston. Okay, I got the logos here, we got the uniforms, we got the vertical ice and the home ice. Some of these graphics I've done myself, and some I found on the internet. There's a whole community out there that has done all the graphics for this game. So it comes with generic graphics. So if I go to, let's go to the 1966 season, you can see it's just generic graphics. And if I go to my team information, Boston now, it's just generic. Chicago is generic. So you would assign the logo. So you would go into Chicago and find the Blackhawks logo, whatever one they use. There's a few that I downloaded, and I would sign that logo, and now that is going to stay with the Blackhawks in this season. Okay, so you can customize it with your logos. I'll come back and say hi. So you can put in the team logos, the rinks, and the uniforms in there. And some I found on the internet, some I did create myself. But that's just how you can go and customize the game. So I'm going to get some fun stuff now. So what I like to do, I go to my setup. Check this out. If I go to play-by-play, okay, I'm going to get rid of the camera. So if I go to play-by-play, this brings up all the lines of dialogue, not all, but a bunch of lines of dialogue you will see in the game. Okay, I scroll down, there's 223 lines of dialogue. What happens is it gives you 20 varieties of what's over here on the left. Okay, so it says at the left point. It's at the left point. Most of them are at the, but you can put near the left point. Okay, at center ice. Okay, between the blue lines. At neutral ice. So this will randomize and come up during the game. I had so much fun with this. I must have spent 2 hours the other night going in here, and I'm still not done. So if I put shoots, you can say backhand shot, fires away. You know, with a shot, fires it. Okay, one timer. With a drive, with a hard one-timer. So you can go in yourself and change all this. So wrist shot, okay? So I'm going to go in and change this. I'm going to go Wicked Wrister, right? And now I'm going to save. And now, at some point when I'm playing this game, if the guy takes a wrist shot, it'll go to that line of text that I put in, and it'll be Wicked Wrister. So again, go to your setup, go to your play-by-play, and you could add your own lines of dialogue in this game that will come up. And I've seen some of mine because I put some funny ones in. And you save it as this file, HKPBB So you actually save this file. If you have this game, I could zip off my file to you, and you could dump it in your game, and you could have all my play-by-play in your game. And same over here. If you If you decided to go in and do all your own play-by-play, you could send me your play-by-play file. I could input it in my folder here, and then I'd see all your play-by-play. So it does a really nice job of that. There is also the narrator. There's some pronunciation. Let me show you that. So if you go to Edit Narrator Translations, all right? So I had John Busick, and I had to fix this, but let me put someone else in here. Let's go to how.
How.
So you can see how it says how. You could change it to something else if you didn't like it. So how about Gilbert?
Gilbert.
You see how down the bottom here, someone's already put that in? Gilbert. So you can make it sound, you might have to put in a weird translation.
Gilbert.
But that's how you would go and change names that didn't add up. Okay, there was, like I say, I did Busick. Let me go again to that right here, to Busick. So as you can see, John Busick was Buchick. I think he was saying Buchick.
Busick.
So, but I went down here and changed it to Bu-sick, and now
Busick.
it's Busick. And you could do that mid-game too, which is really kind of neat. So if you're in the middle of the game and it says penalty to number whatever, and they say the name wrong, go right to your utilities up here. Go to Edit Narrator Translations. Put in that name. You'll hear it said wrong, and then you try to put in a pronunciation that you think it'll recognize, and then bam, just like that, you got a nice pronunciation for that guy's name. So there's a few fun things you can do with your logos and your rinks, your play-by-play. Your narration is really kind of fun. All kinds of fun things you can do. Let me see if I go into my, let's go to my rosters. Let's go to Boston and modify my team. So this is where you go and change some of the things here. Let me see. Oh, I want to go into rosters actually. So if I go to my rosters, okay, this is where you can change all your lines. So I'm in the 66-67 season. But you can really, tweak all your lines here. If you go to your coach, you can go to your game plan. This gets really deep now too, as far as, do you want, what kind of offense? You want a point emphasis? You want to cycle low? Do you want to play really defensive? Okay. I mean, the one thing that at first turned me off about this game is the graphics. The graphics, I think, are very, very antiquated. Some of the other games I played, the graphics are phenomenal. They're gorgeous, and just everything looks nice. These look really old, but they work, and they work well, and everything is spelled out really nice. Like even down the bottom here, pull the goalie when trailing by 1. I can set it, I can adjust that, to when I want to pull the goalie, okay? I can switch the goalies if I want, if I only want to have goalies play a period or two. If I go to my CPU coach here, I can say, okay, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. I want to play line 1 and line 2 evenly. And I want to play line 3 and line 4 evenly, okay? So you can really set up the game as you like. They can always change on the fly, but it gets really deep here as far as what you want to do with line strategies, your third period adjustments. Do I want I leave this alone, but you can increase your forecheck in here, okay? And then you have individual line strategies. Busick, I want him to be more of a cycle low. I want these guys to be defense because they're the fourth line. So you really can get in and kick the tires of the strategy if you want in this, and it's deep, but it's not ridiculously deep. So there's a lot of fun in that. You can also, if you go to, I think it's over here, player status, you can change the numbers of guys too. Okay, because only a few people get numbers. Well, I went into my season, and if you just go to modify a player, right here you can add the uniform number. So I went online. Actually, it's right here in the middle if you can't see it. I went online to my 74 Bruins. In fact, I will go back and show you that right now. So again, this is all generic. My 74 season is the one I'm playing. This is the one I loaded up on all the graphics. And if I go to my rosters and I go to Boston, you can see that I've added all the uniform numbers in here. Okay, with Gilbert and Orr and Edistran, and these are all pretty accurate numbers. I went online and looked them up all the way down here to Ken Broderick and Ross Brooks, who are my goalies. So not all the teams have numbers, and I think that really only comes into play when they announce the goals and the penalties, because sometimes if the player doesn't have a number, it'll just say penalty to, Ken Hodge. But now that I got his number in there, I should get the number 8, Ken Hodge. And again, I did try out a couple of things. I did go back and reset a season stats, and it did keep all my numbers. Okay, so Once you do that, you're done. Once you put the logos in, you're done. Once you put the numbers in, you're done. So I might go back in, and as I play teams, I might go online and add the numbers to all the individual teams. It would take some work, but I'm really enjoying the 74 season. I'm really immersed in it. So yeah, I would like to try to get everybody's number that's accurate. Okay. One thing I did have trouble with is setting up the team right down the bottom here. You can see it's skaters 19. It's the max is 17. So that means I have a couple of skaters that I need to scratch. Okay, I have too many skaters, so I need to go and scratch a couple to get it down to 17. So I would come over here and I would say, okay, who am I going to do? Okay, so I'm going to scratch Dave Forbes. So I'm going to go inactive Dave Forbes. Okay. Oh, I didn't highlight. So highlight Forbes, inactive. So now I'm down to 17, okay? And then I'm going to go, who else I want to do here? I got to scratch one more guy. Freddie Stanfield. Actually, I just picked up Freddie Stanfield off the free agent wire, and I will make him inactive. So now I'm down to my 17-2, and the red goes away. So when you first start the game, you come to your roster screen, you will have to make some players inactive to get it down to the 17-2. You don't have to. The game doesn't penalize for you. That's what's really good about the games. It really doesn't do a lot of penalizing. If you screw something up, you still can play the game. And let's just show you some of the other rules that are going on in here. So what you can do, so you can set it up, again, 3 periods, 20 minutes. This is all, there's no overtime in 74. But again, you can change all this, okay? I can up my dress tier if I want to, okay? Which I'm thinking I might do because I only have 3 lines and then a couple of wingers. So I'd like to get 4 full lines. So I might bump that up to 18 if I wanted to. I do have injuries. I can limit the injuries to the current game. No goal injuries. I let this kind of run for right now, but there is a way of resetting injuries too. So if you get too many guys hurt, you can wipe it out and everybody's injuries are fine. But so there's some general penalties, pretty standard, but you can change some penalty options. You get your miscellaneous. I took off timeouts because there's no timeouts back then, but you have your touch-up icing, your delayed icing. This is how it was in 74. One thing I do highly recommend is this one right here. No computer play calls for human coach teams, okay? Check that, because that means you're going to do more in-game stuff. You'll have more in-game choices instead of letting the computer choose everything for you. So select that one there, and you'll have more options in the game. I keep this one off here, all games on neutral ice, because if you notice, when you do start a game, if you're the visiting team, you do not see who's on the ice for the home team. Okay, when you're home, you do, because you're the home team. But if you're the away team, you get first change, they get last change. So keep that in mind, that's how this goes. There's some usage penalties here if you overuse players. I just kind of leave that as it is. You got your display here. I'll show you what that is in 1 second. And then you got your quick play. Now, quick play is if you want to watch games play out by the computer. Okay, and let me show you that. So let me cancel out of that. So if you go to your schedule, these are all the games going to be played that night. You can actually watch the game played out here on this live screen. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to select this to play now. And I'm going to play this one game. And you can see I have it set up to stop on goals. So we got a goal here by Washington. I got a goal here by Detroit. And every time there's a goal, it stops until the end of the game. And if I wanted to, I could join this game and it would open up and it would go to the big screen and I could watch it if I wanted to, okay? But this live thing here just kind of does it in a flash for you. And there's the final 3-3, okay? So this game is in the books. And then I could go and select and do the same, or I could just go to the next day, which I might do. So we're on the 19th, so I'm just going to go and I'm going to come off the screen, okay? And I'm going to select all these and just let it run and simulate, because none of these are the Bruins games. So let's just play, and they should sim out. You can see the games are being simmed by the computer one at a time. And then this is the day that, like I say, there's no Bruins game, so I'm not playing here. So I'm just letting the computer play these out. And then when I'm done, I should get a final from everything. And yep, I do. All requested games have been played. It shows you the score, the visitors and the home team. It shows you the stars of the game, and that's really kind of cool. Okay. Now this is where the ticker comes in. If you can see up here where it says ticker, okay, so I'm going to go to the next day, so which is the 20th. So Boston is playing. So I would select Boston here. Now, when you're in the schedule, you can play any game by just selecting H, okay? That's how you would select the game, is go to H. Now, if I wanted to see the ticker in action, what I would do is I would select all these. Okay, and what it would do is all those blank lines would come across here, and it would fill in all the games except the Boston game. So it's actually going to sim the games in advance. When I go and I play my game and I call up the ticker, it's going to show me in real time as I'm playing my game what happened. So it's not going to show you the scores here. Okay, it's going to show you the games with the ticker. If I uncheck that, it would show me all the scores, but I like to use the ticker in the game to give it more of a realistic feel, okay? So that's how you would, and if you wanted to play another game, let's just say, I want to play this Pittsburgh-Atlanta game. You can choose and play it here as well, okay? So a lot to cover here, but I'm trying to do this real quick. Lastly, let's take a look at some tools here. So you can over here, reset all statistics to 0 statistic. Yeah, say that again, Dave. Huh? If I check that and begin reset, it wipes out all the scores of the games. It keeps all my players, all my logos, and all my numbers. It just lets me start that season over again. Or if something happens and you don't like what's happening, reset it and go over, okay? So that's how you would wipe out a season and start over. I don't touch any of the coaching tools. I don't use any player photos. I think they look kind of yucky myself. And I just kind of leave all the stuff here. But this is how you would reset a season. This is how you would reset injuries, too. If you had injuries, you'd reset them over here. You set up. Okay, let me go over this real quick. I like to use the horizontal screen. Okay. I don't use any photos. I use player labels. Okay, name. Okay, that you can go to the ratings. You can go to the uniform. I like name, so I can see who has the puck and who's on the ice, okay? Display uniform numbers if available. I do like that. My play-by-play speed and pause I set for 11 and 5. I like a long play-by-play. I got a large font. And do not check the computer versus computer plays, because what that will do is every time there's a game being simmed, it will pop you in to the actual game, so you don't want that. So I do not check that right there. Over here, I do not lock player displays, because when you're watching the game, everybody is locked into their position and there's no animation on the screen. And as far as puck size, you can change your background on your border. I have a black puck with an orange border, and I find size 8 works pretty well. 10 was a little too big. I think 5 is a normal, so I bump it up a little bit so I can see it. Graphics and sound, definitely display your shot video. That's when you can see the action with the shot. And also click to shoot and computer to shoot. So if you have that set here, you will click every shot. You can set it to shoot automatically. I think that takes away half the fun. I have a short pause after the shot, so we keep the game moving. And I have the speed for the puck set right about here. You can see right about 1/3. So it's not too slow, it's not too fast, but I can see it. The chalkboard options. The ice is called the chalkboard. So I have everything here, so I can see as much as I can. I put on my sounds, and I have my narrator over here. Sometimes you can select between male and female. It's not coming up right now, but you can select your speed. And again, you can have starting lineups and all. I have it set for scoring, penalties, and miscellaneous. You can also do full play-by-play, but I like to do the play-by-play, so I don't want to hear the narrator voice the entire time. It just shows you the active season I got, and you can install a new season from over here. And these are some of the preferences that I use in the game. So I'm just going to X out of that. So that's some of the fun you can have in this game. I know I kind of ran through a lot, but hopefully it gets you off and running if you're interested in playing Action PC Hockey. This is a 2018 version. I've really been into it, and if you're wondering how long it takes to play a game, I think it takes about 18 or 19 minutes a period if you just kind of hammering away at it. So 45 minutes to an hour to play a game if you play it all the way through. You do have the option when you're playing a game to zip ahead. So let me see if I can do that real quick. So if I do an exhibition game between the Kings and Toronto, okay, so we're going to go and just Kings and Toronto, okay. I'm going to exit out of there. I'm going to go to, I think I selected both teams. Doesn't that figure? There we go. Now we're going to go. So let's go to horizontal ice. Okay. If I want to, I can zoom to 2 minutes ago in the game. And it's going to sim. Well, at least it's supposed to. Maybe I checked something off here. Oh, no, I have something checked wrong. Hang on a second. Maybe now I can do it. Zoom to. No, I did something wrong. Hang on a sec. I went to the period. See, 155 in the period. Let me go to... Oh, so I got to take the shot. That's what I got to do. All right. So let me see if I can now zoom to 2 minutes ago in the third period. Yeah, I did. Here we go. So I zoomed it to the closest whistle in the third period. So I've zoomed ahead. It's 6-5 for the Kings, and I can actually play out the last 2 minutes of the game if I want to. And that's how it would go. And if I wanted to, I could just go to the end of the game. I think I kind of messed something up here in the play-by-play, but here we go. So I'm playing as both teams, so that's why I'm clicking here, because I didn't select to pick one or the other. Both are human-controlled, which you can do. You can actually play as both if you want to. I like to play as one team or the other. Yeah, no, I have to click for both teams here. So, but anyway, yeah. So if you don't want to play the whole game, you can. Okay, here's a neat thing right here that I'm glad this came up before I signed off here. I'm in the offensive zone now, and I have the puck, and I have options to pass it or dump it in deep or try to find somebody. Okay, Ferguson has the puck. Now these guys only have 1 star, so the chances of me getting the puck to them are very slim. Okay, so I'm just going to go to generic pass button and see if I can work it around. So Ferguson gets it back. I still don't have anybody. I still don't have a shot, so I'm going to pass again. I still don't have a pass. Keon has it. Okay, so I can either shoot or I can try to penetrate. Now, Keon has the puck. I'm going to try to skate in a little bit. I gets around a man, and I'm going to take the shot, and Vachon makes the save. Okay.
1 minute remaining in the third period.
And you got a minute to go in the game, too. Now, if I want to go ahead, and I'm going to zoom to the end of the third period, and that should just finish out that last couple of plays, and that should zip me to the end of the game, and it does. And so Los Angeles hangs on for the 7-5 win. So they must have thrown one in the open net at the end. Okay, so game over. And then I got my game stats. And, yeah, a little empty net goal here at the end, I'm pretty sure. So you can zip ahead if you want to. And I think I just clicked out of the game here. Okay. So again, you can zip ahead in the game if you're getting tired. Sometimes if you're getting destroyed, or I'm destroying them, I would just want to zip ahead a period. So you can. Again, the game can be a little glitchy at times, but it did work pretty well there. So there's this kind of a general introduction to the game. Again, I've only had less than 2 weeks, so there's still a lot that I'm learning, but I really like the... put my camera back on and say goodbye here. I really like the feature to add the play-by-play. If you go to your setup, and again, the play-by-play that we talked about, you can change the text here. Okay, I really like that. I really like going to my utilities and going to my narrator translation so I can change player pronunciations to get them as close to correct as possible. I like the idea that I can go and put my own numbers in on the guys, and I like the fact that I can play different teams against other teams from other decades, and I can also bring in teams to certain seasons and even import players or whatever I want. It's just one big monster sandbox of playing some hockey, and I really do like the fact that you can, when you're playing the game, you have on-ice decisions as far as passing, who to pass to, penetrating, taking shots, dumping in, clearing. So you're not just managing the team, you actually get some on-ice decisions to make as well. And I find that it's not quite as deep and heavy as some other sims that I've played, which you got to manage, salaries and things like that, and it gets really. I enjoyed that. This is like sim light version for me, and it's more pick up and play. We can just jump in and play any game and have a lot of fun with it. But again, there's a lot of good to it, but keep in mind you do have to buy the individual seasons, which can get a little bit pricey, but definitely wait for a sale. That from time to time there is a little bit of, it does get a little glitchy from time to time, but for the most part you can play any team against any team and put any player anywhere. Stats up to yin yang, little play-by-play on the screen, and I'm kind of repeating myself here, but anyway, so that's the game I've been playing. That's why I'm kind of addicted to it. I'm deep into my 74 season. I'm 4 games deep, but I mean, I'm really deep into this game now. I got a nice game against California coming up, so if I go to my Boston Bruins here, should show my team reports. There we go. Okay, yeah, team reports brings up my Bruins, so I get a game against California, and if you look here, California is 2-2-2, so the Seals are really not that bad right now. They're in the Adams division, which is weird because you got Boston, Buffalo, Toronto, and you got California in the Adams division, but they did play 1 year in the Adams division. But as you can see, I've had some tough games against Buffalo, Toronto, and Chicago, and Philadelphia, and now I got to take on California and then Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is 2-1. And then I got St. Louis and Kansas City. Kansas City's 0-4. So I got some relatively easy games coming up. So I'm not sure who I'll put in net. Maybe I'll put Ross Brooks in net or Ken Broderick, one of my 3rd or 4th string goalies, get them some action. Or maybe I'll just play my big guns and try to inflate their stats. But anyway, so there's a look at Action PC Hockey 2018. I think it's a nice mix of a sim plus a playing game, and it's just total sandboxing, total fun, and you can customize it with logos, and it's got some play-by-play going on, and it's a lot of fun if you're an old guy like me who has a Seal shirt. So anyway, I'm Dave. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.